So there's not many times in NFL history you can look at something and say, this is the worst thing that ever happened in NFL history. The Trey Lance trade truly was one of those things. So the San Francisco 49ers traded back in 2021. They traded the Miami Dolphins, the number 12 overall pick, the first and third rounders in 2022, and a first rounder in 2023 for none other than Trey Lance. Now, in his first game with the Niners, as you can see against the Bears, it did not go that well. Now, this game was a monsoon game, and I kind of chalk it up to, listen, it wasn't really his fault in the end. It came down to a really bad, weather game, and you can't really expect too much out of that. Now, following this game, where again, like I said, you can see in the game, he's still throwing some pretty decent passes. It's not like he's absolutely trash, and he also showed off some very good mobile ability in this ball game, even hitting a deep pass right here in the early in the third quarter. But like all things in football, the ugliest thing possible is injury, and injury happened. And after starting 17 games in college, Trey Lance was hurt and out for the year, and Jimmy G would go ahead and go on to replace him. Now, of course, in 2023, end of 2022, Brock Purdy ended up becoming the monster. Now, of course, Jimmy G would go down with injury, and they would have to go ahead and use the Brock Purdy machine, as you would call it, to become the starting quarterback and take them to the playoffs. I say in 2023 because really the playoffs is where he absolutely blossomed. The end of the year to the playoffs, Brock Purdy was a sensation. And everybody forgot about Trey Lance, as he was sitting as the number 3 quarterback on that depth chart. Now, of course, Trey Lance would get another bump, another hit to him, as he did come back healthy this offseason, but the 49ers decided to go ahead and sign Sam Darnold, another former top 5 overall pick who simply did not work out with the New York Jets, and then went to the Carolina Panthers, where yet again he did not work out. So now with his final team, the San Francisco 49ers, it led Trey Lance to become the 3rd string quarterback. Now that Brock Purdy is officially healthy and ready to start week 1, it's going to be Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold, and then of course that meant the odd man out was Trey Lance. So officially they have traded Trey Lance to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th round pick in the 2024 draft. Now, let's look back at this Trey Lance trade and how everything went down. So, starting off right away, they traded Trey Lance to the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins used a couple of those picks to actually trade up to number 6 and get Jalen Waddle. And we already know Jalen Waddle is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Following that, they used a couple of their picks to trade for Broncos defender Bradley Chubb, and finally used some of those picks, and again, keep in mind they did use some of their own picks, but they also used a 49ers pick there to trade for none other than Tyreek Hill. So they got 3 star playmakers all from one trade with the San Francisco 49ers, and all of those playmakers for one player who never truly panned out. Now, of course, the worst trade we have seen outside of the Trey Lance trade has to be the trade for Ricky Williams back in the 1999 NFL Draft, where Mike Ditka traded every pick he had humanly possible to trade up and take him. And again, he did actually do pretty dang well for the Saints for the 3 years. Yes, the 3 years he was there. He had almost 1,000 yards his rookie season, 1,000 yards exactly his second year, 1,245 his third year, but he really wouldn't show off how amazing of a halfback he was until he left the Saints. Yes, until he left the Saints in his 4th year and went to the Dolphins and had an 1,800-yard season. Then following it up with a 1,300-yard season. And then, of course, after that, it was an absolute mess because he missed the season because he retired. He came back. He got suspended, etc. You already know. If you know Ricky Williams, you know my man. He likes to use some Aaron Rodgers type things. Medicine, I would say. You guys understand what I'm saying. Josh Gordon-esque, right? But other than that, we haven't seen a trade like this, of Trey Lance's level. And it was a risk. When the 49ers traded up, a lot of people thought, oh, this is for Mac Jones, the quarterback, from Alabama, the quarterback who has probably one of the greatest minds in the NFL. And while, yes, he really doesn't match up to the prototypical perfect quarterback, he gave a lot of signs that he knew what he was going to, be successful. And it's kind of exactly why a lot of people were high on Bryce Young going into this year. Because, again, another quarterback from Alabama with a great football IQ. But we're going to have to wait and see what Bryce Young does. Mac Jones is still kind of questionable whether he is a draft bust or not. But Trey Lance, again, not the guy. And they selected him, and they really, truly believed he was going to be him. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I do not believe in any way possible Trey Lance will take over for Dak Prescott or beat him out for the job. Dak Prescott is the guy there. That's his team, and that is what it is. But the 49ers really got hosed in the end here, and the Cowboys and the Dolphins got an absolute W as a backup quarterback for the Cowboys and 3 star playmakers for the Miami Dolphins. See you guys in the next one.